Hey, before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your side of the story. I'll never forget the moment my phone buzzed that night. I had just finished washing the dishes, the kitchen still smelling faintly of last night's garlic chicken, when her name lit up the screen. I smiled, expecting one of her usual see you soon messages. Instead, the words made my stomach flip. I'm staying at a friend's place for a week. No explanation, no hint of why, just those 6 words. I stared at it for a long time. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but I didn't reply. I don't know why. Part of me wanted to trust her completely. The other part felt a strange, gnawing unease. So I put the phone down and tried to convince myself it was nothing. She had friends. She deserved space. But that night, lying in our bed, I couldn't sleep. The first day passed quietly. I kept myself busy, running errands, walking our dog, fixing the leaky faucet she had been complaining about for weeks. I called her once, just to hear her voice, but it went straight to voicemail. The second day, I noticed her messages were seen on her phone from work, but she wasn't answering mine. I told myself it was normal. Maybe she was busy. Maybe I was overthinking it. But by the second night, the cracks started showing. I noticed the little things she'd always done. Texting quietly in the bathroom, laughing softly at her phone, sudden whispers when I entered the room. I caught myself peeking at her notifications, feeling a pang of guilt for even thinking it. But the unease was relentless. Something didn't feel right. Then it happened. I was searching for a charger in the living room and accidentally knocked over a stack of mail. A small envelope slipped out, the kind of envelope you get from a hotel or a courier. My heart stopped. It wasn't addressed to me, and the handwriting didn't look familiar. I hesitated, my hands shaking, before I peeked inside. Inside were 2 tickets for a weekend getaway, and a folded note with a man's name I didn't recognize. My throat tightened. My mind refused to form the words that were screaming at me. She wasn't just staying at a friend's place. She was somewhere else entirely, with someone else. I tried to deny it. I told myself it had to be a mistake. Maybe she had borrowed these tickets for a friend. Maybe the note wasn't serious. But every part of me knew. The stomach dropping, suffocating realization settled in like lead. I remembered our late-night talks, her laughter, the way she always pressed her hand to mine. All the memories that had once brought warmth now twisted painfully in my chest. For the next 2 days, I watched her texts and calls like a ghost. I saw the patterns, the hidden messages, the small lies she'd woven into her explanations. When I confronted her gently at first, she brushed me off, saying I was imagining things, that I was overreacting. But I wasn't. Deep down, I knew the truth was there, waiting for me to find it, waiting for the moment it could no longer be hidden. Finally, that evening, she came home. Her face was pale, her hands trembling just slightly as she held her bag. I could smell the perfume on her coat, one I didn't recognize. My voice caught when I asked, "Where have you really been?" She looked at me, eyes wide, and for a moment, I almost thought she'd lie again. But then the confession came, slow and trembling. She admitted everything. Weekends with him, the secret texts, the moments she wished she'd never shared with me. There was guilt in her voice, remorse flickering in her eyes, but it wasn't enough to undo the damage. I wanted to scream. I wanted to collapse. I wanted her to tell me it wasn't true, but the truth was sharper than any words of denial could ever be. I sat there listening, heart breaking in real time, feeling all the memories of our life together unravel in my hands. By the time she finished, silence had filled the room, heavy and suffocating. I realized that love, no matter how deep, cannot survive lies stacked like bricks between 2 people. I didn't yell. I didn't cry, at least not immediately. I just stood up, my hands trembling, and whispered, "I need time." In that moment, I understood something essential. Heartbreak doesn't always come in screams or slamming doors. Sometimes it comes quietly, in the slow crumbling of trust, in the small moments you remember differently now. And in that quiet, I found my own strength. The next days were hard, lonely, and bitter. I replayed our conversations, her laughter, her touch, but I also replayed the envelope, the tickets, the lies. I grieved what I thought we had, but I also started to rebuild a version of me that still existed underneath the shock. I learned that closure doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from accepting the truth and choosing to honor yourself, even when it hurts. When she finally left for good, there was no dramatic farewell. Just a quiet goodbye, a soft door click, and a heavy exhale. I stood there for a long time, feeling the weight lift slightly, knowing that life would never be the same, but that I could still move forward. Because betrayal hurts deeply, but it also teaches you who you are, what you deserve, and that even in heartbreak, you can find your own quiet strength.